Welcome, Media Men Online. I'm Dan. This is Isaiah.
What up? What up?
You know, doing two different podcasts 2 days in a row really messes with. I almost said the other one. I do it every single time. And yesterday I almost said it sure is something.
Especially when you're on your on week.
Yeah.
It's like you're exhausted from the crap you have to deal with at work to begin with.
Yep. And we did a 2-hour episode yesterday, which is way more than usual and actually went well, but thanks to everyone who watched that one. Probably not a very big crossover audience, if I'm being honest. All right, well, let's start with some news. And I don't think we did a question of the week, but we'll get to that if we think of one.
Yeah.
So, a previous question of the week: what is a movie that you'd like to see a sequel to? Well, apparently, somebody listens to this show.
Mm-hmm.
And on my birthday, April 18th, let's go, they announced that a Dredd series is in the works. It is going to be called, I believe, Mega City 1. And
Yep.
Carl Urban is back. So that's everything that we want. Hopefully the right people get their hands on it.
It's been 12 years since Dredd. 13 years. Well, probably 12 and a half. But yeah. Man, I hope Carl Urban can still do the Judge Dredd. I don't think he's gotten too much older. I think he can still do the action stuff, but not much longer.
But even so, the original Dredd in 2012 wasn't exactly like he's doing Jason Statham maneuvers.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
It'll be fine.
But I've been hearing about, like, it was a sequel that was in the works for a little bit. Then it was like an animated TV show. I don't know if that's what this is still, because it's just saying a new TV show. It doesn't say animated or not. But that the name Mega, like the Mega City 1 name, I've heard been floating around. So maybe it is still the animated one. But I hope, like, I don't know. If that's all we can get is an animated one, I'll take it. But part of what makes me love the Dredd movie is the way that it's shot and filmed in live action.
Are they going to be able to replicate that? Probably not. But I think honestly, this is such a bizarro world, like a post-apocalyptic. I can't remember how many mega cities because I read the comics so long ago. But the mega cities are just humans stacked on top of each other because outside the walls it's all barren wasteland. So it is ridiculous enough to fit perfectly into an animated show. And you could do it with Carl Urban till the day he passes on from this world. So I would like to see, maybe it could be fun, but nobody ever does it. Maybe they do a season or two of live action and then switch it over to animation. That'd be fun.
Or if the TV show does well enough, we get a sequel movie that's live action or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, we need more Dredd, all right? I mean, it is cool that it's this perfect little movie, but it definitely deserved what it got.
Yeah, at least it's the same guy.
Yeah, we glazed it enough last time.
Yeah. Isaiah wanted to ruin my day just before we started, so we watched the Predator Badlands trailer.
I was like, oh, I really liked Prey. They can't mess up the next one, right? They probably learned from how good Prey was. Do not. That trailer looked so bad. My interest levels went from like I'm actually really interested to I want to forget that this movie was made.
Yeah,
it's somehow directed by the same guy who did Prey, though. How? Yeah. Wait, how? They look like completely different movies.
I don't know. November 7th, apparently. Go watch this trailer. The positive thing I'll say about the trailer is it was short.
Don't watch the trailer before you have to drive, because we had to spend an extra like 3 minutes Dan trying to get his eyes working again.
Yeah, it blinded me for a few minutes. So it just looks like a teenage boy with a Predator mouthpiece.
Yeah,
like just some kid with dreads running through the. Like, this is stupid. We've all lost the plot here. But go watch it if you want to ruin your day, I guess.
Yeah.
This article is by. Want to give that one a try?
It's Roger Milakovic. I was like, is that an L or a K?
Nailed it. I think the in like Icelandic and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure it's a Y sound for the J.
Hrove?
Something like that, but hey, close enough. This movie looks terrible. I'm not going to watch it. I've never seen Prey, which I heard was good, but it's just not going to get me interested enough.
I say that's what's sad is Prey was actually I thought was what you need to do if you're going to like, should these series keep going on? Not really. They were good for what they were. But Prey was a good, like, Prey is what is as if they did Star Wars Episode 7, but did right with nostalgia and reusing of old themes. Because it doesn't feel like the Predator again, but it goes back to basics in making the Predator, you know, kind of terrifying again. I guess you know what I'd compare Prey to the most is actually Alien. Because it goes back to just making it where it's just like, oh, it's this scary thing that's just hunting them down. And it works because it's set like, you know...
So the original Predator.
Hundreds of years ago, so they don't have any gun... I think there's guns in it technically, but it's like flintlock rifles, but they don't really use them because it's an Indian tribe. So, yeah. I don't know.
How times have changed. Yeah. The original Predator turned 38 this year, and it is...
Still a classic.
One of the best movies of all time. And it's just... They don't make them like that anymore. We're going to talk about another movie that's also 38 shortly here. But you've been warned about Predator Badlands. The fourth My Hero Academia movie, You're Next, is available on Crunchyroll and Netflix. So if you have a subscription to either of those and haven't seen the movie, it's available in sub and dub. Is it available in dub on Netflix? You want to check because you have Netflix, right?
I'll look, quickly. So. But I noticed it when I was watching when I was downloading Lost Season 2 for the plane ride back. Okay, because man, it's like I could be doing this other stuff, but man, that show just dragged me back in.
Yeah,
especially beginning of Season 2 is with the hatch and that.
Yeah. So with this movie, I would say it's the second best. I think the first one is just so well done in terms of what the show is trying to do, but this one, I would say 1, 4, 3, 2 is probably the order I would rate them. 2's kind of weird. That's the one where Bakugo gets the powers at the end, right?
Yeah, that's why I really like 2 up until like the last 20 minutes of them.
This one you get all the characters in this one, a little bit of everybody.
Internet's being really crappy right now because guess what, another crappy thing about Netflix, the only way to check the language on everything is I have to start the episode or the show. Okay, here, let's see here. Audio, yeah, it's in English, which reminds me to briefly say as well, Blue Box is finally out in English. They're on episode like 25 of the anime, but according to the person who told me, all the episodes dropped in English all of a sudden. I don't know what the wait was, so it's not like only episode 1 is out. But Jesus. I need to watch that with my friends because Blue Box, I love that manga so much. It's what, like, I do really enjoy 100 Girlfriends, and I've enjoyed Kaguya a lot, but Blue Box is more of a serious kind of sports romance. Yeah. And I really like that manga quite a bit. I got into it because of Super Eye Patch Wolf when he talked about it.
Well, that's a high recommend. Yeah. Not Blue Box. But
well, I do recommend
My Hero Academia,
Box, but yes,
but we'll try and stick with that. So
yeah,
Blue Box is it's good. I've read bits of it, but it's I'll wait for the series to. Is it just out on Netflix now?
It's only? A Netflix original. Anime,
real creative Netflix. Yeah. You really,
I love it when they say Netflix original.
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Sorry, brief tangent. Did you see the commercial for Kakegurui, the Netflix original?
No.
So there's the anime, then they made a live action Japanese, and they're doing a American version, and it's funny because at first you see it's like, oh, it's a Japanese girl who's playing the main character, then it's like for the sidekick character it's some black dude, and then they Americanize it. And what was really funny is they said the black guy who's playing a character from the thing is the character who's like the pet of somebody in the show or something. Like they treat him like a pet, and they're like, uh-oh, did Netflix do this on purpose, or is this a weird accident?
Classic move.
But everyone's
so progressive. They're so bad at all of this.
Yeah.
Ghost of Yotei, which is is it technically a sequel, or it's just set in a different...
It's technically, like, in terms of games, it's a sequel, but the story probably isn't connected.
Ghost of Yotei is the Ghost of Tsushima studio and company and all that stuff. You get it? Ghost? So, I mean, Ghost of Tsushima is one of the few games that I've platinumed and didn't have any struggle platinuming because it was just so much fun to play.
Oh, yeah.
So this will be exciting. PlayStation 5, October 2nd, and it'll be on PlayStation 6, October 12th.
And, like, of course, we're going to have to wait for the game to come out, but it's like, look, you could have games with main characters being females, and we won't have a problem with it.
No.
It's like, it's almost as if it's the other issues that are the issues.
But then if she takes off her mask and she says, "I'm a big, strong woman," then I'm going to turn the game off. So there you go.
If she takes off her mask and actually underneath it's Brie Larson.
Or Pedro Pascal. I'm going to be pissed.
I'm a strong, independent
we didn't talk about Glenn or whatever the dickhead's name is in Last of Us. They killed him off.
Oh, well,
spoilers for The Last of Us.
Joel, yeah. I mean, that's what happens in the game.
Right, but when you have somebody like Pedro Pascal, who everyone likes for some reason, you can change it. So they have no problems changing from game to movie or game to series if it benefits their narrative. But if it's something that's, we killed the guy, like, it's just,
he's not going to be gone.
Stupid.
I'm telling you right now, he's not going to be gone because they do flashbacks with him, with Joel appearing in them in the game, and I'm sure they're going to create so many more, so that way he's in
probably
like every
already
episode.
have. Like, he's probably got.
I mean, you mentioned Pedro Pascal. There was an article that came out that was like, Pedro Pascal tells off J.K. Rowling. It's like, why is this an article? Who cares that one celebrity is saying that another high-profile person is garbage? How is that a news story?
Because people click it.
So dumb. I was like,
that's the state we're in.
Ugh. Okay, let's get back to good stuff. Please.
Yeah, let's get off the Pedro Pascal subject and talk about a good actor. All right. I can't stand. I know you like him. I can't stand him.
I think he's fine. I think he can be good. I just hate the cultural zeitgeist around him.
Yeah.
That's the thing that annoys me.
It's him and Emma, what's her face? The Black Panther girl, whatever the fuck her name is. Wednesday, the Wednesday girl.
Oh, Jenna Ortega. Yeah.
What did I call her?
You said something? Emma something. Is she in Black Panther even?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
I was just thinking of all shitty things in my head that kept swirling
just like,
around.
I like her and stuff. She's people are way too obsessed with her.
She was all right in Death of a Unicorn.
Yeah.
Kind of irritating at points, but she's all right.
I think she was supposed to be irritating.
All right. 100. No, she wasn't.
I mean, not as much as Will Poulter, but
169 minutes is the runtime for Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and there's a whole hubbub about it. 169 minutes, 2 hours and 49 minutes. Now, Tom Cruise, believe it or not, cares about this series. So let's just go back. The first one, 110 minutes, just shy of 2 hours. Second one, 123 minutes, 203. Third one, it's 206. Fourth one, I'm going to screw up the math here, 213. So we're getting up there. 231, or 211, sorry for that one. Fallout was 227. Oh god, it's getting real long. And then 2 hours and 44 minutes, which is 5 minutes shy of the runtime for The Final Reckoning. The reason that I bring this up is that, what do we always say? A movie needs to be as long as it needs to be.
Yeah.
The Amateur was over 2 hours. It needed to be over 2 hours. Drop was an hour and like 30 minutes. It needed to be an hour and 30 minutes, and both of those movies thrived because of their runtimes.
Yeah. I feel like we praise movies that are under 2 hours, but it's because so many movies are over 2 hours just for the purpose of being over 2 hours. Whereas you have a movie like The Monkey that was like, what, an hour 20 or an hour 30?
And
it was perfect for that length. If it had been any longer, I would have been like, this is way too long. That movie was the perfect length for the kind of movie it was trying to be. Whereas I'd say like The Batman was it needed, in my opinion, it needed to be 3 hours. You could break it up into multiple movies, maybe, but it'd be more like a mini series at that point. But I felt like, if you took anything out of that movie, it'd take away from what I think builds up throughout the entire course of the movie.
And that was my point about The Amateur, was I sat and thought about that movie and there was nothing I could have cut from it.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. But that's what it's going to be here. Tom Cruise has a hand in this movie, not only as the star actor, but as a producer, just like he did with Top Gun. This movie is going to be as long as it needed to be. If they said this movie was 3 hours and 31 minutes, I would sit there.
It's also the final movie.
Right. Allegedly.
Well, it's the final. I'm confident it's the final movie with Tom Cruise. But we know that they're gonna, Hollywood's gonna Hollywood, and they're gonna make more without. They're gonna reboot it or something.
Tom, copyright this. Another thing about Tom Cruise, he's a guy that's like a Scientologist or whatever.
Yeah.
But nobody ever hears about it. If you ever go onto his X account, it's because he does his own private thing. This is what we need to move towards more in life. Yeah. He does his own thing privately, but on his X account, he's like, "Hey, got a new Mission Impossible trailer. You guys think you guys will like it?" Yeah. All he's doing is trying to promote his stuff like normal people should.
It's like what they were trying to do with like that. What ended up becoming one of the worst movies ever, Battlefield Earth, or whatever the heck it was called, where it's just like, hey, I want to push my Scientology beliefs on everybody. Let's make this movie. And John Travolta was.
Oh, was that what that was about?
Yeah, it's basically Scientology. Like
the movie,
the end game of Scientology, essentially, type thing, is the whole purpose of that movie. But I mean, even outside of that, it's just like, sure, there's a lot to criticize Tom Cruise as a person about, but they're mostly like, I feel like he mostly, and maybe I'm being, unaware or something of this, but it seems like he mostly just keeps to himself about his stuff, especially nowadays. I feel like he was making a spectacle of himself in a bad way like 20 years ago or something, like jumping up and down on that couch or whatnot. But nowadays it's just like he just keeps himself. He makes really good movies. I mean, you didn't see anybody complaining when Top Gun Maverick came out and broke all those records, and that's probably the best movie that we've gotten in like 5 years or something.
With Top Gun Maverick, he sat there, he gave That was the first movie. Now, some movies have taken this trend. That was the first movie I remember him sitting down, him and the cast, looking at the audience saying, "Thank you for coming to the theater."
Yeah, because it was like, it's like 2 years after COVID or something.
Yeah, but it's like he cares about his movie. He cares about his craft. They did this with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
Where they sat and they showed, in the beginning, they showed some of the cuts.
Oh, yeah, that was
like
cool.
Behind the
scene stuff. Yeah. Because you can tell they have a real passion for it. And I always appreciate when you go to a movie theater, and I think it's because the people making them do as well. Because when I saw Death of a Unicorn, the cast, or a couple of the cast members said before the movie, "Hey, thank you for coming to see this in theaters. Yes. We hope you enjoy the movie." And I'll tell you what that does for me. That puts me in a good mood right off the bat. Because I can tell that, okay, they enjoyed making this movie, and they actually do feel like, sure, is it like mandated by the company or something that they have to sit down there and do it? Maybe. But I do feel like a lot of the time it is genuine, where it's just like, especially with a movie like Death of the Unicorn, where it feels more like a passion project type of movie, that, hey, they actually are thankful that people are sitting down and watching this movie.
It doesn't matter what if the person who was sitting there in Death of the Unicorn hates you, they don't show it.
Yeah,
it's like if the girl who did the Snow White thing, if she did that, where she sat and said, "Thank you for coming to watch it," instead of, it's weird that she wants to be rescued by a guy who's stalking her or whatever she said in the interview. That movie would have turned out a lot differently. But it's just how you treat your audience, and we get a lot of that these days where they just don't respect you. But this movie, I can't tell you how excited I am for this, and
I haven't watched the trailer still. I'm gonna try to go into this as blind as possible.
Oh, when you go see drop, it'll be there. So.
So what I do when I go to movies is I put my earbuds in, and I'll watch something, and I will like
even through the trailers.
Even through the trailers,
okay.
I will take my earpiece out if a trailer starts to look interesting to me.
Yeah.
And then try to pay attention to them because, you know, sometimes I do want to watch the trailer because if I have zero interest in something, that will spark my interest in something.
Yes.
But a lot of the time, like if I think it's been on a movie or two before, like a trailer for this, where I'll immediately just be like, nope, all right, I'm going to look down and I'm going to continue watching the thing that I'm watching.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the lights dim, because that's what I like about the theater, they'll dim the lights before the movie actually properly starts. Then I know, okay, earbuds out, phone down.
That's the thing,
watching the movie,
right? If it's a movie that you're already seeing, no matter what you hear or see about it, you don't want to see any of the trailer. Yeah. But if it's a movie you're like, this could be all right, then
like the Until Dawn trailer. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be seeing the movie because I'm just thinking, oh, movie or game to movie adaptation. This looks
and it's already bad. A cinematic enough game to where it's not necessary. So yeah, I'm with you. Let's move on here. This is a quick one. Cyberpunk 2077, that debacle turned into... They really turned this game around.
Yeah.
We're getting a new DLC in 2026. And was it a thing with this where I was playing PS4, you were playing PS5, it was unplayable for you?
Yes. I was playing on PS5 and like the game crashed constantly, so I just quit playing the game and I haven't come back since. Like I know it's super fixed up now, and because I know the big issue that they had was they released the game too early. But they had delayed it like what 4 times at that point, and their investors and everything was like, you have to drop the game now.
Yeah.
And so I still say shame on them for the state that the game did come out in, and I think it has hurt them with people like me where I haven't touched it since because, you know, usually you get one shot, I'm going to move on to other stuff. But I do commend them for super turning it around, even in really cool ways, like you see their Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which I think won Anime of the Year when it came out 2 or 3 years ago.
Nice.
And actually, I'll talk a little bit later, but I got to meet the main voice actress for the character in it.
Nice. Yeah, it was just so funny. I was playing PS4 Pro, and I only had one crash the whole game.
I got a crash a day every time. I got to crash a play session.
Yeah.
And that's usually what ended the play session.
Yeah.
I still will never forget me giving the game one more shot like a month or 2 after I had quit. I jump on, my friend's watching me, and I'm trying to like stealth through this thing, and it just isn't working. Like it's like they want you to do this mission a very specific way, because I wanted to like sneak out the roof or something, and I remember there's an invisible wall that I eventually was able to like climb over and through. I spent like an hour trying to do it, and then I broke through the invisible wall, and I get down, I jump on my bike after being so frustrated, I drive, I'm not used to the driving controls with the bike, and I take the turn a little too hard, I crash into a dumpster and the game crashes, and I was like, that's my last time ever playing the game. A literal dumpster fire.
Yeah. Good Lord. Yeah, that's I'm interested in this. I haven't touched the game since I beat it, but
I mean, the DLC they came out with Liberty City, I've heard really good stuff
Liberty
about.
City? Is that copyright infringement?
Or maybe it's Liberty something.
Oh, because Liberty City's GTA 3, I believe.
It's some Liberty something or something Liberty. But I've heard it's really good, though. It has one of the people you don't like in it as the main actor, Idris Elba. But I've heard he's pretty good in it, so
he's all right. It's just he probably shouldn't be playing a Norse god, I would say.
Phantom Liberty. I knew
there
Liberty
it is.
In this.
Okay. I was gonna say Liberty City. That might be infringement. Yeah. All right, let's talk about this disaster.
Yep. All right. So, Witch 2 pre-orders did finally drop, and they went last night. I went online around midnight, and I was gonna get one. I get to the screen there where, because at first I clicked on it, and I know you're gonna talk about your experience, but I jumped on like the Mario Kart 8 bundle at first, and it said coming soon. I backed out. I went to like the main hub page they had, and where the regular one is, and it was there available. I'd have to jump in like a queue or something to wait. And I was like, you know what? I've been talking about all this stuff that Nintendo's doing that I don't like, I don't agree with. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I closed the page. I went to bed so I could be up for work. Who knows? I could have been in line for an hour. And I don't think I'm going to be pre-ordering a Switch 2. With all the stuff that we've talked about, you know, especially like with the whole game key cartridge thing now, and the prices of everything. I don't know. I'm probably just gonna spend my money of what I would have used to buy this to buy 2 new PlayStation 5 controllers, because mine are like near the end of their life cycle. But I've just been like, I don't have money to buy it because they're like $60-$70 each or something.
Yeah.
But you know what? I won't buy this. I'll buy myself some new controllers, so I'm not having to charge them every 4 hours. And there's, joystick drift or
a round trip plane ticket to freaking Florida.
Yeah. I don't know.
2.
But yeah, because my friend that I hang out with, he does streaming and he does Mario Kart, so he's like, I got the Mario Kart bundle because, he's like, I got to play that when it comes out for streaming and everything. I was like, he and my other friend was like, no, we decided not to get it.
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, I can't just be saying, I hate all these business practices and then go and buy the Switch too.
Yep.
I gotta let him know I don't like these business practices. I'm not gonna buy your product, which is crazy for me because I've been a Nintendo guy like my whole life. I just thank God that there's no Zelda game at launch, because that probably would have.
It would be available for Switch 1 though.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be actually a good thing if it was.
But it's like, I don't know, because I was looking forward to Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch 2 with like that 60 frames a second, but you know what? I'm still gonna have a good time playing it on my Switch 1.
Yep. Until there's a game that's exclusive to Switch 2, which I don't think will be in 2025. A game
want.
A game that I want that is yeah. Which I think is going to be that From Software. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Switch 2 exclusive because of the graphical demand that it's going to take. Now, for me, I checked this. I worked last night, and I checked this a couple of times, and I didn't have any access. But I woke up around noon today. Guys, I worked last night. I didn't just sleep in till noon. So I slept from 7 a.m. till noon. Anyways, I got on the Walmart website, and I kept clicking on it, and it said, I would click it. It would say, unavailable due to high demand. Try again. I did it a few times. It added to my cart. I went to go put in my payment information.
Walmart.
And I go, and it said $538. And I sat, I'm like, this isn't worth it.
Oh.
538. How much is a PS5 Slim now?
I don't know how much it is now. I mean, that's about how much it was for the PS5 when it came out, but I'd be like, it
was 500 pre-tax.
Yeah, pre-tax. Technically, the Switch 2 is cheaper, but it's like with the PlayStation, and that was also like the physical of it, where it's just like, hey, I can actually physically own my games with my PS5. They had some really cool games coming out on release, and at the time, especially, it felt like, hey, this is something I want to invest my money into. PlayStation 4 was very successful, and they were very gamer focused.
Yeah. So that's $369. The PS5 is currently only $50 more than a Switch 2. $50 for a PS5 with the disc, brand new.
Yeah.
Once I saw the price, $538, because $449 is what's in your head. I'm like, okay, I can swing that. Once you see $538, something clicks once you get past that 500 range, that it's just like, this isn't worth it to me. There's no games that are available on launch. I want Pokemon Legends ZA, but that doesn't come out till November.
And you can play that on the Switch.
You can play it on Switch 1. And Pokemon isn't exactly like a graphically intensive game that you need the big one for. And I have a OLED. We both do.
Yeah.
It just, once I saw that price, I closed the window. I'm like, maybe later.
Yeah, because I think that's the other big thing is like with the PS5, it was like you're getting the 60 frames a second, or like the very high quality stuff. And sure, you're getting that with the Switch too, but Nintendo games aren't known for needing to look the prettiest to enjoy them. Also, like I forget if they said, because prices of things did increase because of the tariffs. I think like that camera thing is like $100 now. Yeah,
the accessories did.
Yeah. But that's the other thing. I forget if we even talked about it, but just the game prices are ridiculous.
Yeah,
like $90 for Mario Kart. Like,
That's why I tried to get the bundle. I'm like, I probably want to play Mario Kart. Might as well just get it for 50. You know.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, that's why it was 538 because I tried the bundle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
now
500.
it's clicking in my head because 449 is the price of the
one without
regular.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Like, damn, that's a lot in tax, but yeah.
And I'm, by the way, I'm not saying or trying to shame people who want to buy the Switch too. Like my friend who bought it, that's cool. I just personally, like, you know, being, you know, working where we work, we don't exactly get paid as much as we should.
Yeah.
And money, you know, things are pricey nowadays. And you have to really think about, because that's the other thing, like when the PlayStation 5 came out, it was during COVID where like there was nothing to spend your money on.
Yeah.
We had tons of extra money.
Giving you stimulus and
but like with this, it's like, you know, there's just everything's so expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
And you know, why, like that's just ridiculous. Where what am I going to be paying near $100 for a new game whenever it comes out? Like, right. Is the next Zelda game going to be $100? Because people, I guess people have been saying like Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be almost $100 because they wanted to charge that much for it. But they weren't going to. But now that Nintendo's doing it, I guess we'll see what happens. God, I know that's the one problem with me is I know that this is going to just prove to Nintendo just like the $70 games did, whereas people were like, "Oh, $70 games, that's a little too much." But it's like it's only $10. Yeah. I think this is a big thing though, is that games just started being $70 like 2-3 years ago, and now you're trying to jump it up to 80 and 90 already.
But not even all games.
Yeah, only the big ones.
Yeah.
Which makes me think even more where it's just like, I don't know. I could get into this a little bit more and I won't go on a full off rant, but game companies can make up the cost of their games in other ways without having to increase the price of games. That's why the price of games stayed the same for so long. That's why like I'm okay with Overwatch being a $60 game with microtransactions inside of it, because it's like, cool, that way the game stays at 60 or $50, whatever it was. And then if you know, people spend money. Is it kind of scummy the way they do it? Yeah. But they're able to keep the base price of the game. And for people who don't want to pay anymore, like I think like Honkai Star Rail, I pay nothing for that game.
Right. But
it's
the people
cool.
who want to spend thousands.
But people spend millions and millions of dollars, I'm sure, in that game. And that helps fund the rest of the game. Do I like the business practices they do to make that money? No. But they could be charging $60 for the game and having their their gacha. They could be doing all this stuff, but they aren't. And you know that Mario Kart World is going to have DLC, and it's either going to be paid or exclusive to their membership pro stuff. Because they just dropped the Oracle games for Zelda on the virtual console or whatever the heck the version of it is.
Yeah.
But only if you have the pro plan. I remember when the virtual console used to be just, hey, all these games are available and you can pay $5 or $10 for them.
Yeah.
And now it's, you have to have this service, and essentially, like, I don't know, because it used to be fine because, like, they get their money on me because I'd pay $10 for it and then maybe I never play it, but they got their $10 on me. Now I just, I never play them and they don't get any money on me because I don't want to spend a crap ton of money a year for their pro membership to get access to the game until I stop paying for the pro membership, and then I don't have access to the game anymore.
Yeah, this is just kind of a disaster altogether. I don't know what they're thinking, but
yeah,
and they're trying to blame tariffs on this, but
the prices were before the tariffs.
Yep, it's crazy. They're getting out of control, and Nintendo was one of the last companies that I thought was in it for the people.
Yeah. It's funny because game prices were like $90, $80, $90, $100 back before the first crash happened.
Yeah.
And who was the company that came up out of the ashes and basically made gaming a thing again? It was Nintendo. With the NES. With fairly priced games.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, are they trying to create the next Crash or something? All right, we've talked enough.
They really
about
kill
this.
your damn interest in this stuff.
All right, movies we watched. I had mentioned last time I was with my family in Seattle. We had watched The Menu, and they are super into horror. And I was like, you know what horror movie you guys need to watch that you haven't seen? Because they had seen *Malignant*, which takes place in Seattle. So that's why I was like, at first I was like, let's watch that one. And then I was like, okay, they've seen that one. What's the movie that came out the year after my favorite horror movie? Oh, it's Barbarian. They had never even heard of it. I was like, okay, we'll watch Barbarian. Not much more
free Barbarian.
Yeah, well, that was a great thing. I didn't even show him a trailer for the movie. I just said, just sit down and watch this movie. I've talked about this movie enough, so you know how much I love this movie. You know how much I hate that it still doesn't have a physical release because Sony's Sony. Which it's just awful. But Zach Kreger, guess I just mentally prepared myself for his new movie that's coming out in the summer. I guess a trailer dropped for that, but I was like, not watching that trailer. Yep. I'm gonna watch it. He sold me with this movie enough. Weapons, yeah. Where it's just like, yeah, I'm sold. That's all I need. You got Josh Brolin, Alden Ehrenreich, however pronounce his name. I'm excited for more. Same great reactions from my family though, except it was awful because it was on Hulu and they dropped an ad after, you know, the midway point there. And I feel like what really makes that moment work is it cuts to black and then just straight cuts to, like, you know, the random scene of them, or the guy driving on the cliff, and that works so well because you are just jolted there. There was, because of Hulu, there was like a 1.5, 2-minute ad. And I was like, this kind of ruined the moment. This isn't supposed to be an ad break moment of the movie. This is supposed to be a jarring cut in the movie. And it really threw off the scene there, but they still really enjoyed the movie. All the performances are amazing.
Do that in the TV version.
Yeah.
They probably do the same thing.
Yeah. There's a couple ad plays. It's like, this movie isn't meant to have ads in it at all. The ads definitely ruined didn't ruin. They made the experience slightly worse because this movie is all about just like the building tension and unknown throughout, and the ads really do cut into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, great movie. Can't recommend it enough. If you haven't seen it, 3.5 is criminally low.
Yeah, the majority of them are 4 stars, which I guess I'll take, but
yeah,
this is a phenomenally, unbelievably great movie. Speaking of,
oh man, now
this is one of my favorite movies of all time. My birthday was this past week.
Is this Richard Donner? Yeah. I never noticed that.
And my wife goes, "What movie do you want to watch?" I thought about it for a little while, and I haven't seen Lethal Weapon 1 in a few years, so I just wanted to bring this movie back to light because it's so...
They don't make them like they used to.
It's a masterclass of not only acting, but story building. You start the movie with this woman jumping out of a window, and you get bits. It's a detective story. You get bits building up. Then you have the 2 characters, the old man on his way to retirement, the young guy who's insane, possibly.
It's crazy thinking of Mel Gibson as the young guy.
But the chemistry is a perfect movie.
Their chemistry is too good.
And 3.7, whoever is down here, like these 182 people should not have internet access.
You know what, though? Not as good as Lethal Weapon 5 or 6, you know?
Yeah.
Real ones will get that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I grew up with, actually, the movie I remember the most is Lethal Weapon 4, because that's the one that we had on VHS. But my parents loved these movies, and we bought them the DVD 4 combo set for one of their birthdays. These movies were watched a ton in my household growing up.
3 isn't that good, but the other 3 are fantastic, and 5 and 6 are just... They are relentless classics.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't watch 5 anymore online, though.
Right.
Because Fox/Hulu is a bunch of wusses.
Did they remove it?
Yeah.
Oh, I own it physically, so...
That's why I say, freaking Hulu.
Oh, my God.
They removed all the episodes with that kind of stuff in them, which was unfortunate because it's like, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's like if they removed... What, did they remove Tropic Thunder off the thing as well?
Probably. So here's what I want people out there to do with this movie, because it is not only, I mean, unfortunately we have to see Mel Gibson's ass in there, but it's something for the ladies, you know, let them get a little piece there. But this is what I want people to do. I want you to go and watch like Fast and Furious 14 or whatever. Then go back and watch Lethal Weapon. the difference in the skill of acting, the passion that's in almost every character, the interactions between Riggs and Murtaugh, where he thinks Riggs is insane, and there's just not, but it's not even just that. The chemistry is great, but the acting across the board, it's not only just Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. Gary Busey's fantastic. I forget the name of the older guy. Peter McAllister is the character's name. So Mitchell Ryan is fantastic, but even down to the father of the gal who jumps out of the window in the beginning, spoilers for 1987 movie, he's fantastic. Every single person, this is him.
Is
Tom
Joe
Atkins.
Pesci in this movie, or does he not? He shows up in the later ones. Okay.
He shows up in 2 and he's in 3 and 4, but he's not in 5 for some reason.
Yeah,
so,
weird.
Just the reason I want you to watch this, watch an older movie first, or watch Lethal Weapon, or what the fuck, Fast and Furious first, is that you need to see the difference in the skill of acting. For the most part today, you can just plug in any idiot. Now leave who's our guy from Barbarian aside.
Bill Skarsgård.
Leave him out of it. Leave the Skarsgård brothers out of it.
Yeah.
You know, but mostly everyone else, anyone in Fast and Furious is just interchangeable.
Except for John Cena.
John Cena as
well as like
John Cena would be perfect in Lethal Weapons.
That's what I say. Like
Lethal Weapon 7.
7, yeah.
But yeah, just watch. If you've never seen this movie, watch this movie. It is
like Danny Glover is. I like he's like one of the like probably top 5 like old actors for me. Like when I don't mean old like in age, but like growing up watching movies, he was in so much stuff, and I just remember like
is he still alive?
Every time I saw him, he was amazing. I think so, yeah.
But yeah, just I mean, I can't say enough good about this movie, so I'm going to move on. But
I forgot. Yeah. He has not aged well.
That horse-faced lunatic. But he is he's awesome as well. He's the like mercenary badass guy who goes against Mel Gibson. It's so good. Yeah. And they make you care about these characters, and they don't do the whole black versus white thing.
Yeah, you know, that'd be a thing now, or it'd be like,
my God.
Murtaugh would be the young guy and be like, what? Oh, people don't respect me.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like, my people think I'm a traitor or something like that. They'd be doing stuff like that, and that'd be the plot line.
Yeah, and it'd be directed by Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, whereas in this, where it's just like, hey, you're just 2 guys. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have race tie into it, but if that's the sole identity of something like this, then it's just like, cool.
So
you're not making it interesting anymore.
The biggest difference between Riggs and Murtaugh isn't the color of their skin. Sorry out there. It's the fact that there's a family man and a guy who's one of the most skilled soldiers in the history of our American military.
Yeah.
Who's a single guy who's on the brink of self-deletion. Is that okay on YouTube?
Yeah, unaliving, as they say in the Minecraft movie.
Good Lord.
Everyone groaned at that part. Everyone hated that. It's like, cool, sorry, I'm gonna have to unalive you now. And I was like, Lord. Oh my gosh.
Please go watch this movie. Go watch this movie. And if you've seen it, watch it again.
All right. I watched some Dragon Ball Daima because I was at the convention waiting in line for stuff, and I was like, I watched some Lost, but hey, let me throw on some actual anime stuff since it was a anime convention I was at. So I think I watched a good 3-4 episodes more of Daima. Got introduced to the 4th of the kind of like main characters that are going around everywhere. Pansy there. And I will say it is picking up a little bit. I know those first 3 episodes really drag. Not that they're bad, it's just they drag. In the next 3 episodes, it's still taking its time, but it's still enjoyable enough, and just it's scratching that original Dragon Ball itch for me with just the slapstick humor. I miss that from Dragon Ball, I realize, and it's so good. Like, you can really tell that Toriyama had so much involvement in this, because he was like, I'm going back to my roots, and it just works so well. I'm excited to finish it. see what more there is to it. But I just want to have this be like my fun time as I watch it.
The animation is quite delightful. I really do enjoy it. I've only seen the first 2 or 3 episodes, but it's a delightful little show. I'm glad it's not like oh, Dragon Ball Super happened and then this happened. It's just like its own little thing, and it does have regular Dragon Ball vibes to it because everyone's all, chibi and things like that. Why is he on here twice?
I think the guy on top is supposed to be the brother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he does have evil eyes. Okay. But yeah, check that out. It's on Crunchyroll currently. So
it's good. If you like Dragon Ball, I mean, you literally can't go wrong with this one. I know. Yeah. I remember when it first got announced, there were so many groans because people saw Kid Goku and they were thinking, "Oh God, it's Dragon Ball GT all over again." But I mean, you really can tell that Toriyama actually was like fully invested in this one.
Yeah.
Unlike
And one thing I always, not to get off topic, but Dragon Ball GT, they need to do a Dragon Ball GT Kai, similar to what they did with DBZ Kai. Cut out all the nonsense. Stop turning Goku into a child for some reason. That was so stupid.
This is essentially Dragon Ball GT, but good. I'll tell you that. But I do with some of the things that they cover with it.
Some of the the Shenrons and things like that. The Dragon Ball
Baby, I know, was really good.
Baby was decent. There was another one. The Super 17,
Android 17,
where hell opens up and Vegeta kills Nappa again.
Really weird.
But yeah, all right, we'll move on.
Kevin Bacon?
Yeah. So, Backwoods Bounty Hunter Hub Halloran. I didn't know that was his real name in the show. I thought it was a nickname. They call him Hub the whole time. Like, what is this? Comes back from the dead with an unexpected second chance at life, love, and nearly forgotten musical career. I didn't know that's where we were going to go with this. Spoilers, goddammit. I've watched 5 episodes, only to find his old job now has a demonic new twist. So here's the gimmick. Kevin Bacon is a bounty hunter, or a bondsman, I guess, but he's really a bounty hunter. He goes on a mission, whatever the hell they call it, a bond? Whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
He goes on a bounty, and this is within the first 5 minutes of the whole hook of the show. He's set up, and he's killed. He wakes up in a storage space. They hit his body in the wall of this cabin in the woods. His throat's still cut, and it's all all jacked up because they killed him by cutting his throat. And it turns out he was resurrected by the devil to not only hunt bounties, but just kill demons who have been released to Earth, who have escaped hell in a prison break scenario, is what they call it. So now technically he is a bail bondsman. So the thing I like about it is it's weird, and it's pretty interesting in terms of Kevin Bacon's really good. He has an estranged wife. Her current husband or boyfriend, whatever, is a criminal. So they're at odds. There's that little dynamic. And it's a villain of the week scenario. The only problem with that is I don't know if this released week by week, but I'm watching them back to back, and it feels a little samey because he'll get a fax from the devil or his assistant or whatever, and he has to go and find this demon, but they give backstory on what the demon is. One can possess water, the other can fart missiles. It's just stupid things like that. So
Monster of the Week type.
Monster of the Week. And so it's a little odd because the episodes are only a 30-minute block. So they're short. So it just feels like you're just hitting bang, bang, bang. There's not enough time to hunt down the demon. It's just him doing his own thing, gets the facts, kills the demon. It's very formulaic. But the only thing I really don't like about it is his mother and the character who plays his mother. She is very annoying, extraordinarily annoying. She's so whiny all the time, and it's set in the South, deep South, I think Tennessee. And she's got this very country accent, and she's just like, he'll be like, oh ma, I gotta go and kill this demon. She's like, oh, but you said we do it together. And it's like, just go. It's okay. You can be the gal in the chair. We don't need you to put on a bulletproof vest for some reason when you're go fighting a demon who can absorb water, whatever that one was. So is it a recommend? Yeah, it's fun. It's fun enough to, and the episodes are short enough to where you can try a couple and you haven't wasted your whole day. So I would say it's on Amazon Prime. I would say just give it a shot. And if you like the first couple episodes, it's very samey throughout. I don't recommend binging it though. If you watch an episode a week, like put it upon yourself to go through an episode a week, I think you'll really benefit from it because it's kind of weird and fun. So it is very gruesome too. There's some demon stuff where they're ripping limbs out and things like that. But check it out, Bondsman, Amazon Prime.
All right. Because of Lost, I didn't get fully caught up on this manga, Akane-Banashi. I started it in my New York City trip, for Comic-Con. Made about like a third or halfway at the time through it. I got a couple arcs through this one. I think I'm on chapter like 110 right now.
I can't believe it's up to 150 something already.
I mean, I'll say this. I held off on this one for some time because it just seemed very different and weird for a show, like a shonen anime. But I remember watching this video talking about like Death Note and how that's a shonen, even though it doesn't have like battle and action because it's more about like the mental battles.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this a shonen is it's all about like, there's tournament arcs and stuff in this, but it's about like, hey, I'm doing my Rakugo set and it's a competition against these other people and I have to try to,
what's Rakugo?
So Rakugo is like the whole basis of this. It's a Japanese storytelling format where one person kind of sits up on a stage and it's kind of like they do like, there's a set number of stories that they tell. So you can't just go up there and tell any story you want. It's like classic stories that are made for Rakugo, and it's like comedic. It's like you tell these stories in a very specific kind of comedic way, and you can try to get different ways of approaching it. And that's part of what makes it fun is instead of like different fighting styles, it's like, oh, they have a different approach to the way they do the thing. And like, so I'll just say the basis of this manga is, her dad was, let's say he was ready to get to the next level of Rakugo, like being from an apprentice to a master or something. And then randomly, at his test, the guy who's like in charge of all Rakugo is like, I'm expelling everybody because the art just has lost what it means. And so her whole mission is, okay, my dad was crushed by this, but I'm going to become the greatest Rakugo storyteller ever. And that's kind of like the thing is like her journey through that and fighting against like the difficulties that have arisen because of that incident. Yeah. And I really enjoy the characters a lot. They're really fun, different, and unique. But since it is more of like a, it's not like a good versus evil type of story, it is interesting to see characters who are antagonistic, but I think they do a good job at making characters that are antagonistic, but not bad or evil. Like you think like, oh, this person needs to be defeated. It's like, oh, it's more so that you want to see the main character succeed and less like these other people defeated. And I really like that approach. It has a lot of heart and a lot of good emotion to it, which I really like. Some very satisfying moments. Once again, I think it's very important for manga and other stories like this that are long running to have like, oh, you have your goal. Like with hers is to become like the ultimate Rakugo, but also learn some stuff about why what happened. And they don't just make it where it's just like that's going to be the final arc or the final thing that they get. They progress that goal and actually make it feel like you've been working towards it and unlocking certain parts of, let's say, the mystery along the way. That's engaging and interesting to learn. Nice. And I'm excited to read more of it. I might just try to bum rush through it all and get caught up now. Maybe I'll save it for my train ride down to New York City for Comic-Con next year. We'll see, but I do really enjoy this one, and it is a high recommend. for somebody who wants something that is more about like a battle of wits instead of like a full-on like action battle shonen.
Nice. All right. So, I'm an AEW guy, make no bones about it. But I grew up, I just showed Isaiah my old collection of Nintendo 64 games. How many wrestling games are in there? 3?
4 or 5?
Well, one was a duplicate.
Yeah, there's one duplicate.
WCW NWO Revenge is a duplicate because the first cartridge burnt out because we played it so much. So I used to be a WWE guy, and I would watch WrestleMania all the time.
It's WWF in there, actually.
It was WWF back when it was good.
Yeah.
And so I didn't watch WrestleMania. I haven't watched it since 2019, I want to say. But here's the deal. This is exactly why I don't watch WrestleMania, is because of stuff like the WrestleMania we just had. Now, all I did was look at some of the results, and this one here, Jey Uso, who's like a cornball jobber guy, taking the title off of Gunther. Gunther is one of the most badass, like, big guy. He's like the final boss, but the way he lost and who he lost to is what you kind of takes you out of it. Every year I build up my hype for WrestleMania. Yeah, and then it would suck.
It was no Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Where it's just like, that one feels like, man, you hated to see it, but it felt like this was a worthy opponent / villain.
So they had the TNA champion Joe Hendry on there. Why do they have TNA on WWE? Who knows? But here's the thing that really bothers me, and this is why I hate WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, Paul's in the frickin' WWE now.
Logan Paul defeats AJ Styles. AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers of all time. He is I would say a top 10 in-ring wrestler who's ever lived. And he's losing to this guy who does podcasts and corny reality shows with his brain-damaged brother. Did you see this?
What's with this
Paul
whole family?
American? Paul American?
American Paul or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
But this is the kind of stuff. A couple of years ago, they had a jackass like Johnny Knoxville, Wee Man. They were doing like giant mouse traps and stuff to beat a guy called Sami Zayn, who's also a fantastic wrestler who they treat like a scrub. I was just laughing because I didn't waste my time with this crap. And this is why AEW exists, because of this. If we didn't have AEW, I don't think I would be watching wrestling at all because it's so bad. But the reason I bring up WrestleMania is not because I had this big... Also, they do it on 2 nights. They do Saturday and Sunday now for some reason. Oh, why sell 1 set of tickets when we can milk the fans for 2? Because if you're going to fly down to WrestleMania, you're going to buy 2 tickets worth. Crazy. They don't have enough money? Apparently not. But I just want to shout out to AEW, like I always do, because I'm so appreciative of them. Do they have even a quarter of the audience WWE has? No, probably not. But that's what happens when you start a new company. You got to build it up. So every time this comes around, John Cena, 45, 50-year-old John Cena defeats Cody Rhodes. Like, just all this stuff. Let me see if I can pull that up really quick before we move on
no
to
hate towards John Cena himself.
No.
But...
Sami Zayn, jackass. They did this at WrestleMania. They turned him into a complete clown. He faced Johnny Knoxville and the cast of Jackass with some other guys I've never seen before. Or is that like the dad from the new Jackass? The guy that they put the spider in?
That might be.
Let me see. I wanted to see if they have the way he kicks Wee Man in the there's a giant mouse trap. That's how Sami Zayn loses. Oh, there's what's his face's ass right there. Party Boy.
Yeah, last name begins with a P. I remember.
I can't focus on what I'm saying because his ass is right there.
Yeah.
They put a giant mousetrap, and that's how they pin him. They just turn him into a complete goddamn clown. And this is why I'm so thankful for AEW.
Something that works on Jackass, not on WrestleMania.
No, but if you can do it, like there are comedy guys. There are guys who are just like lower end of the pole. Yeah. Comedy guys who you can do that with. But Sami Zayn's he's like a top level guy.
Maybe he wanted to do it. I don't know. Maybe he's a huge Jackass fan.
I doubt it. They're probably just like, do you want this paycheck, Sam? But yeah, just.
Alrighty, as I think I mentioned last time, or I guess the reason why I wasn't in studio and we had to do it not live is because I was in Seattle for the Sakura-Con 2025 convention, big anime convention. I'm not going to talk too much about it. It was pretty fun. The worst part about it was the hour 45-minute wait I did to get my badge. That was the longest line I waited in for anything, even including the guests. The guest lines were actually not too bad there, which I was very thankful for. The only one that actually was bad that reminded me of like New York Comic Con type stuff was for Amelie, who was like Uda in One Piece Red. She's Monarch, the VTuber, and she's Marin. She's in a bunch of stuff. She's like a big name, so she had a big long line.
That's one of the best things about these medium-sized conventions. The small conventions are a little boring, but if you hit these solid medium ones, it's the perfect middle ground because New York Comic Con has everything, but it's chaos.
Yeah, I mean, like so like her line wait probably would have been like an hour and a half, right, which is like the typical wait for one of the other people
for there. Anything.
Whereas like I got to meet, because I got all my people I wanted to get done in a day, because I was like, there's a bunch of people from Danganronpa, a bunch of people from Persona 5. I have those things I'd like to get signed, but also well, they were both in Persona 5 as well, but like Abby Trott and Xander Mobus were there, who Xander Mobus is the announcer for Smash Brothers, and Abby Trott sang the opening song to Smash Brothers, the English version. Now she's also Momo in Don to Don. So I had her sign my big giant poster of that, which was pretty cool. But Xander Mobus though was funny because somebody was having him do like the announcer voice for like different random names. So he's just doing that, which was pretty funny. But the day 2 was interesting because I was gonna just basically play Magic the Gathering Commander all day except for going to Artist Alley. However, I'm nearing the end of the first game, which I'm about to win, and then they say, hey, we have to evacuate everybody from the building. Because they might be smelling smoke in the building and whatnot. Turns out it's because, okay, so it's hard to describe this without exactly being able to see it, but you have one building, which is where the main part is, and there's like this little sky bridge that leads to a second building where it's just this big convention thing, and the only room being used on that second building was where Artist Alley was. Everything else was in the main building. The Cheesecake Factory, which was at the bottom floor of the not main building where, you know, underneath Artist Alley, gonna close in 3 days. Kitchen catches on fire, fills the entire room, Artist Alley, with smoke. And so they had, because it was going through the ventilation thing, which is why they evacuated the whole building. But then after like 30-40 minutes, they let everybody else back into the main building. Wow. Artist Alley was closed from about 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And I wish I had taken a picture of it, but there was a lot of things I didn't take pictures of there, and it makes it harder for me to be like describe stuff. But I'm also of the mood where it's just like I was in the moment though. I'd rather be living through my eyes and not a camera. But it was just this giant room, just packed like shoulder to shoulder with people, and I just thought, wow, is this how many people are just waiting for Artist Alley to open? And I realized no, after talking with some of them, this was all the artists waiting to go back in there, because they had to evacuate the building, because the room, because they had to get all the smoke out. And they were so upset because they're like, we paid a lot of money for these spots here and we're losing all this revenue.
It not only screws the fans, but it screws the people who up there.
So
they better have gotten a partial discount.
So it wasn't a discount, but I'll tell you, I do think they did help with things a lot. Now, I was going to go to a concert later in the day, like from a Japanese artist, but I ended up not doing it because I went to Artist Alley instead, because I was like, I kind of want to help support this.
Right.
And I didn't really know who the artist was. I just wanted to do it because I thought it'd be cool to be like, hey, I saw a Japanese concert or something. But I went there, and Artist Alley was supposed to close at 6 p.m. They kept it open until 9 p.m.
Okay.
And then
Was
they
that
opened
the 3 hours they lost.
Well, it was more than 3 hours they lost. I don't think they ended up getting all the hours back.
Yeah.
Because it was like 5.5 or 6, but they stayed open an extra 3 hours, and then they opened an hour early the next day. So it kind of helped. And like when they announced like, hey, Artist Alley is going to be open until 9 p.m., everybody was cheering. So you could tell like everybody wanted to support the thing, which was great. So I was able to go through all the Artist Alley, get some art pieces.
That's good, because it's this problem that's out of everyone's control. So it's good that they did their best to make right.
That's why I felt it's like they felt frustrated, but I don't think they were frustrated at the Sakura-Con people. They were just frustrated because it was like, because you can't really. I mean, well, people were saying that they think the Cheesecake Factory. Well, they know it was supposed to close in 3 days. So everyone was saying they think they did just set it on fire for insurance, which just ruined the convention.
Could be,
but wow. Yeah, no, it was a good time. I definitely want to go back next year. It gives me an excuse to visit my family again, which is good. I mean, there's a convention out there in the summer as well, and I might do that for a day there, but also because a lot of the stuff I wanted to do in Seattle, like visit Mount Rainier, can't really visit Mount Rainier at this time of the year because all the roads are covered in snow still.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. Basically, only during the summer do they allow them to open.
Was it snowing in like?
No, it's because you know it's like super high up and everything. All the paths are closed. And I don't know. I just want to spend like what I did in San Francisco. I just want to spend a week in Seattle and just explore the city itself, because I feel like I just got to see like 5% of it. It was really cool. For a big city. And, you know, the one I always compare it to, because I've been to it the most, is New York City. New York City is like a trash pile. All right. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do there, but at least, you know, in the Times Square area and surrounding things. If you go like Angelica East, where like Tribeca was, really nice there. But like Seattle on the coast, especially, they've been doing a lot of renovating and stuff. And it was really cool because it felt like modernized. I mean, even like the surrounding area itself where my family lived, it was like, it didn't feel like just like neighborhoods like this here. It was lots of tall trees and everything mixed in, and it felt like it was one with nature. I was like, it just felt really nice. And I was like, I kind of want to live here. Yeah. And the city itself was really nice. I got to find this cool little restaurant when I was exploring with my aunt, and she's like, I'm glad that you do this kind of stuff because I want to come here more often now. But no, I had a nice trip. Really good to see my family again. And the convention itself was memorable, very fun. It just sucks that they don't do mail-in for their badges. The only way to do it is to pick it up. And yeah, hour and a half. And I guess that wasn't even the worst of it. For some people, they were saying that the line for picking up badges was out the door the day of and stuff. They sent out like an apology like notification or something, like an email. How crazy it was. And I'll show you pictures later of how big this hall is. For it to fill up and go out the door is insane.
Here we got one more item before our preview.
Yeah, I'll just quickly talk about this. I'm sure you have no idea who like iDubbbz is or H3H3 Productions. For anybody who's like been big into YouTube, and especially a lot of like the commentary type stuff, you might know what Content Cop is. It was a series that was like legendary in the YouTube space. Cause like when an episode of it would drop, like the entire YouTube would like look at it, and this is a big deal because it would be like a takedown usually of a big YouTuber who's doing some really, you know, bad stuff. So like big ones at the time, once again, I don't think you'll recognize these names, but there was like Leafy is here. There's a big video that dropped on him where he was probably one of the biggest YouTubers at the time, and this Content Cop like destroyed his career like in a day, because it's like this guy, all he does for content is make fun of kids and be super mean. And so what am I going to do for this video? I'm going to do what he does, but to him, and show that he can't take what he dishes out. And it just destroyed the guy's reputation, and nobody watched him anymore. I know it's the same thing. I used to watch Leafy is Here. This video came out by this guy on the right, and basically destroyed his career. And there was one that he did on Jake Paul and other stuff. Or no, sorry, it wasn't Jake Paul. He called it Jake Paul, but it was actually on a guy named Rice Gum. Who he called Asian Jake Paul, because he's like, all the things I have to criticize about Jake Paul, I have to criticize about this guy. But then he he did that, and then he became very leftist after that. Like, he used to be like, do you know Filthy Frank at all? Okay,
no.
That's a very far right. I mean, maybe not far right, but the guy on the right was known for saying the N-word and other stuff a lot, because part of his thing was like, either it's all okay or none of it is okay. So, and the guy on the left was another YouTuber I watched a lot named Ethan. He was H3H3 Productions. He did a lot of funny sketch stuff. They've both kind of fallen, like I said, they both kind of swayed a little bit left. And actually, the guy on the left there started a podcast up with Hassan Piker. I know you know who that guy is. But
Kamala Khan artist, as I call him.
But then essentially, to make a long story short, he kind of realized because he's his wife is Israeli, and he lived in that country for a bit. So I don't want to get political here, but when that happened,
Israel?
Yeah. So when that happened, he discovered like, wait, this Hassan guy is actually terrible. So they had a huge falling out. And the guy on the right is super leftist and is friends with Hassan.
His wife is from Israel?
Ethan, the guy on the left, yes.
So she's probably in the Israeli military.
So
right?
she was, and that's where like a lot of hate was coming his way, and that's why like
required. Right?
Yeah. So like I said, I could talk about this situation for hours.
Yeah.
But to make a long story short, he basically has gone through so much crap, had like Child Protective Services called on his kids because Hassan's community.
Oh, not even for something he did.
No, it was like false stuff. Like people were making up things about him. That's why, like, I used to watch him a lot. Then he became very like leftist and of that crowd, and I kind of fell out of love with him. But he's been getting all this hate, and I feel like he's been centering himself a little bit more now. And just all this drama and all this stuff has happened to him. And this guy on the right is one of his best friends. They used to make videos together. And he drops out of nowhere for the first time in like 5 or 6, 7 years a content cop, which is not actually a content cop. It's just him picking apart this political situation, which just doesn't work at all. Everybody's hating on it. And you can just tell, like I said, it's a very messy situation. But for people who know YouTube, like watch a lot of YouTube back in like 2010s, you know who these people are.
Yeah.
And this was just a big deal. And it was just
laughing because the sun's blasting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, the eyes. Yeah, I'm just like getting lower and lower.
That when we're done.
But no, it's just a sad situation to see all this happening. And the last thing I'll say is the worst part about it is the guy on the right, iDubbbz, he does a charity boxing thing every year called Creator Clash, where a bunch of content creators will get together and box and make money for charity. One of the people that is in the one that's coming up in like a month or two is one of Ethan's employees. And so he drops it out of nowhere, and they're in the middle of a live show, and then he just texts them and says, hey, sorry if this hurts you at all, but I had, something happened and it dropped. So it just makes the whole thing awkward, because it's like you're making fun of one of their, like, the fighters who's been training so much for this match is now like stuck in this weird situation where, hey, I'm supposed to be in this boxing match, but the person who's running it just tried to basically destroy the career of my boss and didn't give me any warning or anything. And the guy on the right, he's been getting taken apart, made fun of, because he's just part of the Hassan crew now. And it's been sad to see, because he's become the thing that he used to make. Like, the old iDubbbz would make a content cop on the new iDubbbz, essentially is what it would be, because it's just like he's become what he used to take apart. Because now he's like, I hurt people's feelings and I don't want to be that kind of person anymore, and I did all these things. And sure, there's some stuff you could criticize, but like the complete 180, it's been a whole situation. I won't get too much more into it. It's just, it was a big deal in this space, if you follow this space a lot.
Yeah.
And it was really sad to see. Yeah, I mean, you can just see it in that tweet there.
Yeah.
Yo. He used to be like one of the most respected people on the internet. Like you can see from the tweet there. When he said something, people listened. And now nobody respects him anymore. And making something like this now, it just definitely feels like he's trying to restart his career by choosing the name of something that made him famous 10, 15 years ago. And I don't know, I just feel so bad for the guy on the left. Just a quick little story about something that happened to him. A guy who's been like harassing him online and helped spread the rumors. I won't say the creator's name because I want to give it. Yeah, about like the kids and everything. Played a game where you play as a like Palestine terrorist or something, and you unalive IDF members. And he was like, "Oh, where's the secretaries?" Because his wife was a secretary for the IDF when she had the mandatory service. And doing stuff like that, it's just like so evil. And you're trying to criticize him. Because the whole entire video is him like picking apart a stream that he did where he kind of like went off. And it's like, yeah, did you? And he doesn't talk about once about the whole context of the video, which was that day his kid, you know, Child Protective Services had shown up to their house and were like, "Hey, we're gonna go to your school and take your kids to the side and interview them." And it's just like, oh, like that's insane to have to go through. And it's like, yeah, let's just ignore that context and try to take him out and just be like, "Oh, he's a raving lunatic." And it's like, yeah, maybe because CPS showed up to his house after all this harassment they've been going through, and
wow,
they're dealing with all that. Gee, I wonder why he was a little upset.
Isn't it funny how some psycho can just try and ruin your life just from, you know, thousands of miles away for no reason whatsoever? Oh, yeah. It's fantastic. All right,
it's awful.
Let's talk about next week. So I have not seen The Accountant 1 yet, but I will watch. I think I'm seeing this Tuesday, so I'm going to watch The Accountant 1 Monday night. John Bernthal is actually in the first one. I thought he was added to this one, but he's actually in the first one as well. Cool. With Ben Affleck, they're brothers.
We like John Bernthal here, so
yeah,
good Punisher,
absolutely. Good Punisher, and the dude from the good seasons of The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, it's getting good reviews so far. 3.4. There's a few other. J.K. Simmons is in it. You know, there's a lot going on here.
I've heard good stuff about the first one.
Yeah,
I just never really heard like, oh, you have to see this movie type of stuff. I just heard it's a good action movie, but
yeah,
I mean, it's getting a sequel. Maybe I'll want to give these a watch. Support some good movies, you know, if they're good.
The concept of it, and obviously The Accountant came out first, but the concept of it reminds me of what The Amateur is. Even though Ben Affleck is more believable as an action star than Rami Malek, but that's the point of The Amateur. Please, everyone, go see The Amateur.
All right, I'm going to be watching Drop.
For real this time?
For real. Well, I just, you know, I was in Seattle. I definitely did not have time.
Yeah.
You
have every intention of doing
just
it.
So you're aware what happened. I flew back Monday, and my planes got delayed, and I got back home from Monday night, 10:30 p.m. is when I flew in, so I didn't get home until like Tuesday? 11, and I had to work Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. So that's how my days have been going. So I'm going to be watching that when I get time. I think Monday, because I'll be out of town again this weekend for a charity thing.
Letterboxd needs to get their crap together because 2.9 is criminal. Yeah, absolutely criminal.
I've heard good stuff about this, so I'm gonna definitely be seeing this movie the next free chance I get.
That's a 5.8 out of 10.
I wanted to watch this actually on Tuesday, but I got home from work Tuesday and I was like, I'm just so tired from the flight and having to go back to work. Real. I was like, I'm not going out. I'm just staying home because my cat also needed attention. I'd been gone for a week and a half, so.
Of course. You guys need to get it together because that is unbelievably bad. Criminal. Absolute criminal. Until Dawn, my wife does not want to see this, so I'm going to go see this by myself probably Wednesday morning, I would guess. I don't know. One of the days next week. But it is an adaptation with a twist from the original game, and I think we talked about it before after watching the trailer. But the game is based on Lost Sisters, which they do grab onto here. Is it the one Lost Sister in the game or two? It's two, right?
Well, in the game, the two sisters are basically run into the woods and die. And it's a year. It picks up like a year later, and they're like, "Hey, it's or maybe it's more, but it's like, hey, it's our old friend group from back then. Let's get together again."
So the gimmick with this isn't about because originally the game is just them partying, and then stuff starts happening when that girl gets taken. When they go to that like side cabin.
Yeah.
But this one is like a Groundhog's Day situation where they have to figure out how to get out of they're stuck in this like endless time loop of dying.
Yeah, they wanted to take the basic, because I was looking into this, they wanted to take the idea of the game, which is the whole idea of the butterfly effect, because the whole, like, the game's story is good, but part of what makes the game really good is the fact that your choices affect stuff that happen later. And they want to take that aspect and turn it into the movie. So instead of just adapting the plot, which wouldn't be nearly as interesting as a movie, because part of what makes the game work is I'm the one making the choices that will affect stuff. They're like, hey, let's take that idea and be like, hey, you know, they have, you know, the choices they make are going to affect what happens, and they can only move past this once they've made the correct choices that gets everybody alive. And at least that's the idea I get from the trailer.
And also in the trailer, they say nobody's made it past 13 days. I don't know what maybe that's where the Wendigos come in, because those are in the trailer. Maybe once you get past 13 days, you lose your reality or something. But that could be, because they do show those. Those are from the game. Yeah. But
I feel like they're gonna be. I feel like those are gonna be like an hallucination or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, Peter Stormare is in both the game and the movie, but as completely different characters. He's kind of like, you know, the classic Friday the 13th. Oh, we like David F. Sandberg. You know, we talked about him before, but like, you know, Lights Out. Like, he directed the original Lights Out like short film.
Yeah.
And then he did the only good Annabelle movie. And then he did the first Shazam, which was good. The second Shazam was okay.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
This is one of the most horrific 3 minutes of something that I've seen.
It's the perfect short film. It's what I like to call it.
Crazy how someone can put this together and it genuinely will get you to your core.
I always say, if you want to show somebody how to make a short film, I show them this one.
Yeah.
It's the perfect example. And that's why I'm so glad he has a career. And sure, he's had a miss here or there.
Sure.
More hits than misses, though. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, especially since I learned more about what this movie was going to be. So I do want to watch this one as well.
I do like that it's not just a 1-to-1.
Yeah. So it's taking what people enjoyed about the game and turning that into the movie, instead of just taking the plot and turning that into a movie.
By the way, if you've never out there played Until Dawn, give that a crack. What's this one? Oh, it's just an extra.
And then I've heard good stuff about Sinners. A lot of people, it's breaking records and people saying it's like the best horror movie ever made and stuff. Do I think it's going to be that? No, I don't think it's going to be able to beat Barbarian. However, I have a couple of friends who want to watch it, and I am interested to see it since it is getting a lot of buzz. And, you know, I don't want to just be like, either, oh yeah, I believe all these reviews that say it's the best, but I also just want to be like, oh, I'm going to think it's bad because I don't like Ryan Coogler's other movies.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a shot. I'll see what it's like, see where I enjoy it. But my expectations are very tempered. Maybe for good reason.
Enough, let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing about
I'm hoping I enjoy it. That's all I'm hoping for, is I enjoy it. I'm not looking for it to be the best horror movie ever.
Right.
It's just like, do they do something fun with it? That's all I'm going to look for.
People, all of this 5, 4.5, 4.
Yeah,
I doubt that's actually what the movie really is. But once people see this, oh, he did Black Panther, which was a terrible movie.
That's the kind of stuff that makes me want to not watch it, because I do that with everything. I did that with Freerin when it came out, because it's just like, it seems like people are just glazing this. I don't want to watch this because usually I feel like when things are glazed with such high praise, it's never actually that good. So, but I think I had very low expectations before, and this has raised, like, all the hype and everything has raised it to be like normal expectations now. So I think I am interested to see it. I know you don't like him. I like Michael B. Jordan sometimes. He's another one of those actors where I just feel like, you know, he's in a lot of bad stuff and people are I guess that's the thing, people glaze him too much.
Yeah,
very similar to like Jenna Ortega and Pedro Pascal, that it gets very annoying seeing them so much. But I have liked him in quite a bit of stuff. I think you even said like you like him in Creed. So I'm just gonna go into the movie and just be like, I'm gonna empty everything from my mind and I'll just watch it and we'll see what happens.
So I think Ryan Coogler sucks, but one thing I do appreciate, and I will stay consistent on this for as long as I can watch movies, it's an original movie. For Christ's sake, it's not an adaptation. It's not a reworking of anything. It's an original script with it looks all right. But yeah, let us know what you are looking forward to down in the comments, and we'll catch you guys next week with more of the same.
Yep. Peace.